in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Good morning and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast Market Rundown with Angie Setzer. Angie, had a few things happen overnight. We had obviously the election yesterday, and then last night finished up. Looks like the Republicans remained control of the Senate, and Democrats got control of the House, which is not abnormal. I mean, it's a pretty common thing. That's not out of the ordinary historically, but didn't have a big effect on the markets. It looked like this morning things opened up just kind of flat to a little bit down.
Yeah, I mean, we were off a couple cents overnight. At one point, there was conversation ahead of the market opening up that the Democrats looked poised to take over control of both the House and the Senate, and then you slowly saw the air kind of deflate out of that balloon. If you were watching the news coverage overnight, you definitely saw that mindset had kind of disappeared, and folks had kind of changed their mind on that one. And so, yeah, we saw it stay within historical norms for sure on that side. So, just a second. Can I shut the door?
Yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead.
If you want to start over, we can. I don't know how that works for you.
Well, we're live right now, so we're
live. Yay! So welcome to my world. I have a Zoom, and you just heard them. So my apologies.
Right on. No problem. No problem.
Yeah. So we saw everything stay within historical norms, and you'll hear a lot of times conversations about if it's not bearish, it's bullish. It's not necessarily the case, you could say, but in this instance, it wasn't bad. So you saw President Trump tweet this morning about his big victory. So it wasn't bad. It was a win, yeah. I guess you could say.
Right on. So we got a stock report, USDA report coming out tomorrow morning, yes. Mid-morning, I guess. Yep. There'll be some impact to what that report has to say about where the market heads towards the end of the year. So what's your feel there? Kind of what I'm reading, there's some concern about this actual size of the crop and with how the impact of the soybean harvest has gone and those kind of things. So any prediction there of where you think that might end up?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a big weather impact on soybeans. We're still dragging behind the 5-year average in a lot of places. And the biggest thing that I've seen is I talked to a friend of mine in north central Iowa that runs an elevator or works at a co-op out that way, and no one filled up, is what they're saying. There wasn't a day where people were turned away because space was not available, and actually a lot of folks are saying that they took in less than they had anticipated out that way. Now, granted, when harvest is spread out, I'm one of those people that's saying the same thing. We took in a couple 100,000 less beans than I thought we would. There's still a lot of soybeans sitting in the field, but I only had 1 or 2 days where we were threatening to have to shut down because of being full. Now, there were a few elevators locally that had filled up, mostly because of train logistics and the inability to get in a train to load. And since we're a truck house, it's a little bit different. So the conversation right now is that the crop was actually smaller than anticipated by a lot of folks out there, and we'll have to see if the USDA agrees. I mean, unfortunately, the USDA is kind of the end-all and be-all when it comes to that. It could not show up in tomorrow's report. Obviously, a lot of the private analysts out there are kind of grouping around where the USDA's estimates came out in October. So there's not really an expectation of a major change. Obviously, if we were to see 2-3 bushel come off from soybeans, that would be beneficial to the overall outlook, but it would really just take us back down to where carryout was last year. Mm-hmm. It would be bullish versus the expectations, obviously, of an 850 million bushel plus carryout. But like I said, I mean, the USDA historically has not made major adjustments in their November report. But the USDA this past year has also done a lot of things that they hadn't done historically prior. So it's always up in the air that you could see something like that take place. But from an overall trade perspective, you're looking at most folks anticipating a slight reduction in production, perhaps a reduction in export sales on the corn side, or on the bean side, a reduction in export sales on the bean side. An increase in export sales is expected on the corn side, but there's a conversation about a reduction in feed demand on corn side as well. So everyone's kind of grouping around or within the realm of where we were in the October report. No one's really anticipating a surprise tomorrow, which could make it extra fun.
Yep. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a pretty impactful day, and hopefully we can pack some good China news on top of that and have a big bang to the end of the week.
I would love that. Yeah, definitely. And we're starting to pay attention to what's going on with new crop as well, because November beans are still above 9 and December corn still above 4. So a nice pop on those would be beneficial as well. So I would not complain.
All right, Angie. Well, I think we got her whipped here. If you have any last words you want to throw out there before we shut it down?
No, today should be pretty sideways. I had someone ask me earlier what I expected. I think we'll test both sides before we see which direction we actually want to commit to. So I wouldn't be surprised to see today be, a non-event. And this is horrible to say, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a big move to the upside either, just because it would be fun. I mean, that seems to be what trade's been like in lately, is just to catch us off guard. So I guess we'll see.
All right, Angie. Well, if people want to reach out to you and contact you, how would they do that?
Goddess of Grain on Twitter, or they can email me at asetzer@citizenselevator.com.
All right, Angie. Well, as usual, thank you, and we'll talk to you again on Friday.
Thanks. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving higher, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here.